All right, we'll get a break, but first, joining us from New York, trial attorney Mackenzie Joy Brennan. Mackenzie, Happy New Year to you. This is such a horrible case. This guy seems to be getting away with murder-ish, and that his maximum sentence, he's going to do, you know, we'll see what the judge does at the end, but he's looking at, even if everything's stacked, 14 years. I mean, he killed his girlfriend, chopped her up, and got rid of her body. They believe maybe burned her body over days of time. Oh, and he's going to see the light of day. How does this happen?
You know, it's one of those well, I don't want to say freak because it does happen, but one of those bizarre things in our legal system where, you know, this is what happens when we have set standards for crimes, but put a lot of discretion in the hands of the jury, the fact finders in this case. And obviously everything gets so much more difficult when you have a lag between the trial and the crime itself. You know, evidence degrades, people forget things, cases become weaker generally the longer that you go on from when something actually happened. And you do hear it every once in a while that somebody is good enough or tight-lipped enough at concealing something that the evidence simply is not there to convict on the murder piece. I do think that there is some mercy here to be shown to the victim's family that, you know, it could be up to 14 years. That is not nothing. And with other flukes of sentencing, sometimes you hear murder sentences themselves coming down to that length. And then obviously non-legal consequences are something to hang your hat on to. This man's life will certainly never be the same, as it shouldn't be. Hireable, probably not ever again. He'll spend many of his good years in prison.
Yeah, and yeah, he's going, and he's not, but I mean, 14 years is not a lot considering what they've lost, and her, you know, she lost her entire life. And but you're right, and it's that. What gets me is, okay, they don't know the cause of death because he decimated her body. He got rid of her body, and so you don't have that piece of the puzzle. And then the maximum sentence for that is 2 years, and it seems antiquated. And we went through this with Brian Walsh. We talked about it last hour a little bit, where, you know, Walsh, he ended up being found guilty, but his strategy was, let's go for the, you know, she died mysteriously, and oh yes, I did do that. I chopped her up in little pieces. You see me at the Home Depot. But the exposure there was 1.5 years, and it goes back to the grave digging days where people would, that's what the law is addressing. People who went into graveyards, tried to get some gold teeth, they did 2 years in prison. It seems like that's off here when connected to a homicide.
I think you're absolutely right. And our legal system and English common law, where we come from, it's all very reactive, not proactive. So our laws tend to take a while to catch up to new technology. And I'd say that new technology plays a lot into having convictions where you have no body. You know, there used to be the adage that you even hear on crime procedurals, like no body, no crime, because especially before the advent of DNA and tech tracking of devices and things like that, it was much harder to ever have enough to convict without a body. Thus, there was only this grave digging sort of square peg into a round hole of what if somebody murders someone and we can prove it, and there isn't a body there. So I think that now, given that we are seeing more and more of these types of prosecutions succeeding because there is enough alternative type of very reliable evidence, it might be time to re-examine some of these sentencing brackets and potentially the statutes themselves, which would fall to the legislators.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, well, abuse of a corpse in relation to a homicide would be a different, you know, we would think class of felony with a stiffer penalty. We'll see. Coming up, we're going to switch gears and check on Georgia, where our newest live trial, well, we thought they were going to get up and running today in this fascinating case, Sarah Grace Patrick, but it was delayed. Our Kelly Cops is going to update us on that right after the break.